Good morning. I just got back in from my workout and I decided to browse on YouTube and I saw an article that really has my heart in pieces. I had no intention of filming content today, to be honest, because I did a pretty heavy content day yesterday. But this article, I'm struggling to make sense of it. And I hope that to the family, and I struggle to even use that word, that if they find offense in what I say, that they understand how I could get to, how I could think that, how I could question. I just read breaking news about maybe 1 to 3 hours ago that a woman, a 60-year-old woman working at Wells Fargo, scanned into work on August the 16th. And on August 20th, her body was found still at work at her desk, dead. How could that be? How could that be that no family or friends checked on her? Or even if they did check on her, that they didn't know a pattern well enough with her that this isn't normal. Let's go see about her. Let's go do a welfare check. Let me go put eyes on her. I have friends. I live in Mexico. And I have an inner circle that is second to none. And when their text messages are weird, I pick up the phone and we FaceTime. I've got to put my eyes on you. Because I didn't like your text message. Your text message felt a little, are you okay? Because I'll be there in 3 hours. I keep enough on me that I can get to the States in 3 to 4 hours. Are we okay? They said that the building had mostly remote workers and that she was on a different floor than the main floor. However, the building is supposed to be under 24/7 monitoring. She was missed. That hurts my heart to say. She was missed for 4 days. She was passed up, overlooked, missed for 4 days. And one report that I read, it even said that coworkers reported that they smelled a foul odor. They just chopped it up to it being the sewer. I hope, but I fear that this may be her legacy that she leaves behind, the woman who was overlooked, who was ignored, who was not seen, and passed away without anyone caring, seeing about her. And I think the part that really strikes me the most that I hadn't even mentioned yet was that it was at her job. In the video that I posted yesterday in the content, I talked about time and trading time for whatever amount that you agree to with your jobs, that you give them. It's not just the 9 hours you give them, it's not just the 12 hours that you give them, it's the years you give them. It's the posture and positioning of your body that you've been in for 10, 15, 20 years that now have your body stiff, have your body permanently sitting, and your spines curved, and what do you call that in your wrist? Carpal tunnel in your wrists. The things that you give to these jobs. And that's how much care that was taken, given, afforded for you, that you could be at your desk giving for 4 days. They said the police or preliminary is saying that it looks like she had been dead for all 4 days. So she checked in at her job around 7 a.m., maybe a couple minutes after 7 a.m. on the 16th. And we don't even know if she passed away during the day while people were there. Nobody checked on her. Let me bring this to a close because I do not intend for this to be long. Number one, check on people. That's easy to do. I do nothing all day, the art of nothingness. And I can afford to check on people more often. And so I don't for a single minute have this measuring stick about how much I think people should be checking on me and that it should be even, because it's not right now. It can't be even, but that's a luxury that I have, that it doesn't have to be even. I can check on you a lot. And I do. Because again, my inner circle is second to none and have been there and been present with me through some of life's most emotional events. I'll always check on them. I also mentioned yesterday about my intuition. Sometimes I have to drop in inboxes because I hear your name, I see your face, I hear your voice, I'll see you in a dream. Doing nothing is more than just being able to say that I'm doing nothing. It is resting. It is recalibrating. It is a reintroduction. It is a boundary. It is a revolt. It is a rebellion against any entity that is under the assumption that I will participate in my own active tearing down. I will not participate in you chipping away at me without care, treating me like a number. I do not agree that I am just employee number blank. I don't agree. Therefore, I could not. Therefore, I ask that everybody that's watching this video, I'm not telling you to sell everything and do nothing. I'm not telling you to do that, because this is a specific lifestyle and it's not for everybody. But I do ask that you consider taking more time for yourself to do nothing without guilt, and not necessarily waiting on someone to allow you to have the time. When you know that you need to take it, it's your time. Take it. Set yourself up in a way that if I take 2 days for myself, if I take this time of 2 days to reinvest back into myself, to my mental health, to my wellness, what could that 2-day investment back into myself, using that 18 hours, those two 9 hour shifts, those 18 hours that I would feed back into myself, how glorious could that be? And I think that yes, we do have to address well, what do I do in that 18 hours? Because to be quite honest, to go to a job, they're going to tell you what to do. So you don't have to really think much about what to do. They're telling you what to do with the time that you're trading. And so you do have to be aware and start to learn the different things that you can do with your time. If you could give yourself back time, what would you do in that time to invest in yourself? How would you take care of yourself? Would you go to the doctor finally that you've been pushing off? Would you just sleep? Would you meal prep? Would you clean your refrigerator out? Would you wash your clothes? Would you wash your bed sheets? What would you do if you could get that time back? When you decide to take that time back, I really encourage everybody who is watching this video to look at your time differently, because companies only look at your time one way, and they want to get everything they can get out of you and your time without care to you, without consideration. You can be so easily overlooked, just like this woman was. Don't think that you work for a place that's going to, don't assume that they're going to treat you any different, because anybody, there are so many industrial places around this world. There are so many big machines that are companies, businesses that we check into, we swipe badges. Don't think that this woman's story is just her story and that it couldn't be you, because it could be anybody that is trading their time to an entity that may or may not even know your name. Check on people. Second, companies, the people need to mandate that the companies do a better job. Better job of checking on the people that labor and toil, that give up the time with their children, that give up the time with their families, that give up the time with their parents, their spouses, that give up the time on taking care of themselves for that company. But lastly, in the spirit of this channel, the art of doing nothing, I would ask everyone to take an evaluation of your life and trim the fat and see what you can live without and see what you can take a break from, and really trim yourself down to the things that are the most needed to make you happy, not the things that make you look shiny, not the things that make you competitive necessarily, materially, not the things that you think are helping you to keep up with your neighbors or keep up with your age bracket or keep up with your educational bracket. The fuck? Trim that fat, trim those trauma purchases, trauma bonds, trauma responses, trim those patterns of spending and just consuming, because there is a cost to consumption, and that cost of consumption is maintenance. And unfortunately, that maintenance requires you clocking in these god awful hours to be able to afford to maintain something that, if you really looked at it and thought about it, you didn't need it to make you happy, to make you feel like you had value, to make you feel like you were better. You didn't need it. I wonder at 60 years old, what was she still, what was her push to keep working? I know, but that's not retirement, but what was she? I know a lot of people get to, 55 and 60 and they say, hey, I hopefully want to retire in a few years. And they look at their debt and they decide if they can retire in a couple of years, because depending on how much they owe, they may, even though they have eligibility, it may not be wise for them to retire when they owe so much. I wonder what her story was. And I am sick that her introduction to me and thousands of other people this morning was the woman who was left for 4 days dead at her job, at her desk. That's her introduction. I'd love to know her story. Um, Energy doesn't die, it simply transmutes. So wherever her energies and her spirit and the things that make her, wherever they have traveled to, um, travel well, travel well. Check on people. Check on people. Check on the people that you love. When people's names pop up in your mind, check on them. Trim the fat. Don't work yourself to death for things that you think are going to make you feel a certain kind of way, or that are going to position you in someone else's eyes in a way because you want to be looked at in their eyes as something great. You were great when you woke up. You are great with nothing. You are great doing nothing. Redefine what great is. Okay. I'm sure that there's more, but I could and want to say where were her people? Where were her people? Because the job definitely was not her people. She was failed in several ways. She failed herself first, but she was failed in other ways by support systems. And I'm sure if we do a little digging, that woman supported other people. And where were those people at the end? And that is a lesson that everybody, all of us, anybody that's watching this video, I hope that you think about. The people that you give your everything to, jobs and people, because people can be jobs. People that are constantly in turmoil and always need help can be a job that you don't have to show up for. Okay. I love myself. I love you.